What if I told you there's a hidden law governing reality? A law that can predict major shifts, not just in your life, but in the world. And the craziest part? It's been right in front of us all along. In the next few minutes, you'll discover this universal law. You'll learn how to tap into it. Plus, I'll reveal why most people have no idea it even exists. Stick around, because this changes everything. Section 1. The setup for millennia. Humans have sought to understand patterns. Ancient civilizations watched the stars. They charted the moon's phases. They believed in cycles of change. They saw these cycles reflected in nature and in human events. Think about ancient Egypt. They built their entire calendar around the Nile's flood. This wasn't just farming. It was about predicting life-altering events. They knew when the river would rise. They knew when it would recede. This knowledge was sacred. It was hidden in plain sight. Most people today don't connect the dots. They see events as random. They don't see the underlying currents. But what if these currents are predictable? What if there's a universal law at play? A law that signals big changes, often 3 months in advance. Let's call her Elena. She lived in Chicago, Illinois. It was the summer of 2019. Elena worked in marketing. She was feeling stuck. Her job was okay. Her life felt beige. Then she started noticing something odd. Every morning when she'd make coffee, her cat, Mittens, would sit by the window. Mittens would stare intently at the old oak tree outside. 3 months later, in September 2019, a massive storm hit Chicago. The oak tree in Elena's yard was struck by lightning. It fell right where Mittens always sat. Elena was shaken. She realized Mittens had been trying to warn her. This is a small example, but it hints at something bigger, a subtle precognition, a sensing of future events. It's like the universe whispers warnings. You just have to listen. This isn't just about cats. Ancient texts speak of similar phenomena. The Mayan calendar is more than just dates. It's a complex system of cycles. It tracks cosmic energies. It suggests periods of intense change. These changes aren't random. They are part of a larger pattern, a pattern woven into the fabric of existence. Think about the concept of synchronicity, meaningful coincidences. They happen more often than you think, especially when a major shift is coming. You might feel restless, or unusually inspired, or you might dream vivid dreams. These are all signals that something is about to change. Ancient cultures understood this. They built rituals around these transition points. They used foresight. They prepared for what was coming. But that's not even the strangest part. Section 2, the deepening. Now let's talk about something scientists are just starting to explore: quantum entanglement. It's weird. Particles can be linked. What happens to one affects the other, instantly, no matter the distance. This suggests reality isn't as separate as we think. Maybe consciousness is also entangled, across time. Think about precognition, knowing something before it happens. It's like your consciousness is catching a ripple from the future. This isn't magic. It might be a fundamental aspect of consciousness, a byproduct of quantum mechanics. Declassified documents from projects like Stargate hint at this. They studied remote viewing, the ability to see distant places, or future events. These programs were real. They weren't science fiction. They were funded by governments. They wanted to understand these abilities. They knew there was something more to reality. Let's look at another case. This one is well documented. In 1962, a woman named Jean Dixon, she was a famous psychic. She predicted the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. She did this years before it happened. She saw it vividly. She described the car, the crowds, the event itself. She even warned Kennedy's team. They didn't listen. Some people dismissed her. Others were terrified. This was a massive prediction. It came true with horrifying accuracy. Dixon claimed her insights came from visions. She saw flashes of the future. She said these visions were often triggered by specific events or people. She believed these were glimpses of what was already set in motion. The universe has a way of showing us, if we're paying attention. This changes everything you thought you knew about free will. If the future can be glimpsed, is it already written? Or does seeing it change it? This is the paradox. This universal law might not be about destiny, it might be about probabilities. It's like a river, you can see the bend coming, you can choose to steer, or you can let the current take you. The law I'm talking about is tied to cycles, not just astronomical cycles, but deeper energetic cycles. Cycles that influence collective consciousness and individual lives. They don't want you to know this because it empowers you. If you can predict change, you can prepare, you can adapt, you can even influence it. This knowledge was suppressed. It was deemed too dangerous. Remember this detail, the number 3. It appears everywhere. 3 months advance warning. 3 primary stages of change. 3 steps to harness this law. It's a recurring motif. A pattern interrupt in the fabric of time. Your body already knows this. You feel it. That gut feeling, that sense of unease or excitement. It's your intuition picking up on these future ripples. You're not crazy for thinking something is coming. You're simply more attuned than most. This law is like a subtle hum. Most people tune it out. They're too busy with daily noise. But if you focus, you can hear it. Wait. Let that sink in. This isn't about superstition. It's about understanding the subtle energetic shifts, the ones that precede major events. Section 3. The evidence. Let's dive into a more personal story. This happened in Denver, Colorado, in early 2020. A man named David. He was an aspiring musician. He felt a strong pull to move. He couldn't explain it. He just knew he needed to leave Denver. He felt a growing pressure. It was like a storm building inside him. He'd been working on a new song. It was about breaking free, about escaping confinement. He kept having dreams. Dreams of empty streets, of a quiet, deserted city. 3 months later, in March 2020, the pandemic hit. Denver, like the rest of the world, went into lockdown. David was already out. He had moved to a small town in Oregon. He was safe. He was prepared. He said later, "It was like I felt the lockdown coming, not the virus itself, but the feeling of being trapped. My music, my dreams, they were all pointing me away." Have you ever noticed that? That feeling of needing to change something before anything actually happens? That's your inner compass. It's sensing the universal law at work. It's picking up on the 3-month lead time. This law is connected to collective consciousness. Think of it like a vast network. When enough people start feeling a certain way, or sensing a coming shift, it creates an energetic ripple. This ripple can be detected, especially by those who are sensitive, or those who are intentionally looking for it. Ancient texts describe this. They call it the Great Turning, or the Shift of Ages. They knew these periods were coming. They developed methods to navigate them. These methods are often hidden. They are passed down through lineages, or found in forgotten scriptures. This is where it gets really interesting. Scientists at Princeton University conducted studies. They looked at random number generators. They found that during major global events, like 9/11 or the fall of the Berlin Wall, the random numbers became less random. They showed patterns. This suggests a connection between human consciousness and the physical world, even at a quantum level. This Global Consciousness Project showed that when people are united in emotion or intention, they can influence random systems. Imagine that. Your collective thoughts, your collective feelings, they can literally shape reality. And this law we're talking about, it's the mechanism, it's the way these collective shifts manifest. It's how the universe signals a transition. If you're still watching, you're probably sensing something deeper. You might be feeling a resonance, a recognition. This isn't just theory, it's an observable phenomenon. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You start noticing these 3-month lead times everywhere. In your own life, In world events, it's like a veil is lifting, showing you the underlying structure, the hidden pattern. This law is about energetic momentum. Things build up, they reach a tipping point, and then they shift. The 3-month window is that critical build-up phase. It's the universe's way of giving everyone a heads up, a chance to prepare, or to change course. Stop. Think about this. What major shifts have you experienced? Did you have a feeling beforehand? A subtle intuition? A sense of impending change? You probably did. You just didn't have the language for it. Section 4. The Revelation. The universal law that predicts changes 3 months early is tied to the cyclical nature of consciousness and energy. It's not a physical law like gravity, it's more like a spiritual or energetic law. Ancient civilizations understood this. They called it different things. The Mayans had their calendar. The Vedic tradition spoke of yugas, cycles of time, each with its own energetic signature. These signatures influence everything. They create a subtle pressure, a build-up toward significant events. This pressure becomes palpable. It's felt as intuition, as premonition, as a general sense of unease or anticipation. This law operates on a collective level. It influences societal trends, political shifts, technological advancements, and personal transformations. The biggest secret? This law is amplified by collective consciousness. When many people sense a coming change, the energetic momentum builds faster. It becomes more pronounced. This is why major global events often feel in the air beforehand. It's the law in action. It's the universe humming with anticipation. Think about the lead-up to World War I or the fall of the Soviet Union. There were subtle signs. Economic shifts, social unrest, political tensions. Many people felt something big was coming. They just couldn't pinpoint it. This 3-month window is when these subtle signals become more obvious. It's when the energetic pressure is highest. Before the release, before the actual event or shift happens. So how do you tap into this? How do you use this universal law to your advantage? It boils down to 3 key steps. Step 1. Cultivate your intuition. This is paramount. Your intuition is your internal compass. It's your direct line to this universal law. Practice mindfulness, meditation, spend time in nature. Pay attention to your gut feelings, your dreams, your synchronicities. Start journaling these experiences. Look for patterns. You need to retrain your awareness. Most people are too distracted. They ignore these subtle signals. You have to actively listen. Your body already knows this. You just need to tune in. Step 2. Observe the subtle shifts. Once you're more attuned, start watching for the early warning signs. These aren't always dramatic. They can be small things. A change in the collective mood, unusual weather patterns, shifts in popular culture, a sudden surge of interest in a particular topic, or a widespread feeling of anxiety or excitement. Look for these subtle energetic currents, especially in areas that are important to you, or areas where you anticipate change. Remember Elena and her cat. Mittens sensed the tree falling. David sensed the lockdown. These were subtle observations, but they led to preparedness. Step 3. Align with the flow. Once you sense a coming shift, don't resist it. Try to understand it. Align with it. This doesn't mean passively accepting bad things. It means adapting, preparing, using the foresight the law provides. If you feel a pull to change your job 3 months before a market crash, listen to it. If you have a strong intuition about a new creative project, start it. This law isn't about predicting the future with perfect accuracy. It's about understanding the energetic momentum and using that understanding to navigate change more effectively. It's about being proactive, not reactive. This changes everything about how you approach life. You become a co-creator, not just a passenger. This information was almost lost. It was hidden behind layers of dogma and disbelief. But the truth is resilient. It finds its way out. This universal law is a powerful tool. It's the truth they don't want you to know. Because it gives you back your power, your ability to anticipate, to adapt, to thrive. Remember that Princeton study? The one on random number generators? Imagine if we, as a collective, focused our intention on positive outcomes, on peaceful transitions. Could we influence the energetic currents? Could we shift the probabilities? This is the deeper implication. This is the mind-blowing part. Section 5, the closing. So we've explored this incredible universal law, the one that signals change 3 months in advance. It's not about predicting the lottery. It's about understanding the energetic currents, the subtle shifts in consciousness that precede major events. We've seen how ancient civilizations used this knowledge. We've touched on the scientific hints, from quantum physics to government research. And most importantly, you've learned 3 practical steps to tap into this law yourself. Cultivate intuition. Observe subtle shifts. Align with the flow. Most people have no idea this exists. They're buffeted by change. They feel powerless. But you're different now. You're starting to see the pattern. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Your perception of reality has shifted. You're no longer just living day to day. You're becoming aware of the deeper rhythms, the ebb and flow of time. You're starting to sense the future before it arrives. You're not crazy for thinking something is coming. Your body already knows this. The veil is lifting for you. Here's a question to ponder. If you could reliably sense major upcoming shifts, what would you do differently starting today? Think about it. What opportunities would you seize? What challenges would you prepare for? This knowledge is a gift. It's an invitation to live more consciously, more intentionally. And if you think that's incredible, wait until you hear about the next level. We've only scratched the surface. There are other universal laws, other hidden connections, connecting consciousness, time, and matter. Laws that govern everything. Laws that were deliberately kept from us. Next time, we'll dive into the ancient symbols that are encoded with this very knowledge. Symbols that have the power to unlock even deeper secrets. You won't want to miss it. Because the deeper you go, the more you realize the universe is far stranger and far more wonderful than you ever imagined. What if those symbols aren't just pictures? What if they are keys? Keys to understanding the very fabric of reality. We'll explore that next.